Good morning, everybody, and welcome to 1 Million Cups. Thanks so much for coming out today. We're really excited to have TL and Dale presenting about Curate. Quick word from our sponsors. We're thankful for Field 59, who's behind you doing the live stream. So if you're ever not able to make 1 Million Cups, please check out our website and click on the link, and you can watch every presentation. You can also go on our website and see all the recordings there that Field 59 takes. We're thankful for the library, so I think Ed left, but they've donated this space to us and allow us to be up here. And also for 100 State providing the coffee from Crescendo. So make sure that you get a cup. Feel free to get up during the presentation to refill your cup. We're pretty low key here. And then just a couple quick announcements. I know that there are some companies in town that are hiring, so if anybody's interested in jobs, we've got everything from recruiting positions to full stack and developer positions. Feel free to get in touch with me and I can get you pointed to the right people. And then on August 24th, we're gonna have a special 1 Million Cups again with Doyen Group. And one female entrepreneur is gonna walk away with $5,000, so you won't wanna miss that event. You can learn more about it on the Forward Fest page, which hopefully everyone's familiar with Forward Fest and will be participating in some of the events that are happening. And with that note, I'm gonna introduce,
Next week, we're not meeting.
Oh, and next week we're not meeting. 4th of July, everybody, we're gonna celebrate. We think a lot of people will be out of town, so we're gonna take the week off and we'll reconvene the following week. I'm sure there'll be, are you gonna send a newsletter that says?
There'll be a newsletter going out, and which you guys can sign up for on our website. It comes every Monday. So there will be a reminder that, oh, by the way, we're not meeting this week. So.
And the good news is we are booked up almost to the end of September with presenters for 1 Million Cups. So that's fantastic. We also have sponsorship through 2016. So really what you guys can do for us, if we can ask you, is sign up for our newsletter, tell more people to come out and support the entrepreneurs that are presenting here. With that, I'm Rachel Neal. I'm one of the co-founders of 1 Million Cups, and I also work at Nordic Consulting.
Kurt Peterson, co-founder of 32 Auctions.
Steve Clark, co-founder of 32 Auctions, which is a platform for hosting and managing silent auction fundraisers.
Leah Anderson, I'm another co-founder of 1 Million Cups Madison, and I also work at Nordic.
Hi, Sarah Garnett with the Greater Madison Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Wes Garnett. I am a co-founder of Curate. I'm Drew Corson. I'm a securities and general business attorney with Diner Boucher.
Travis Human, Stray Cat Bicycles.
Shannon Flash, Mutual Group.
Dave Nielsen, founder of Story First Media.
Anna Gashu, White Flag Market.
Dan Stockdale, pilot.
Paul Temple, attorney at Alpha Council.
Scott Dobbs with Lee CPAs and Consultants.
I'm Dan Anderson at Baker Tilly.
Brian Robertson, recently relocated here, done software sales. I've been involved with a startup up in Minnesota where I came from that had cost estimated solutions for architects, engineers, construction.
Shobin, organizer here and with HealthX Ventures.
Alex Ryan with SunPower Corporation in the solar industry.
I'm Tom Willis, and I'm a intellectual property consultant and software engineering consultant as well.
We got a couple back here too.
I'm Ed Graves. I'm a business librarian. I work here at the library.
I'm Nick Lombardino. I work for Farwell, software development and project management consultant.
I'm Derek Gebler with Field 59.
So I'm Tara Linda, and this is Dale, and so we're talking about Curate today. So Curate is web scraping powered by artificial intelligence to give companies business insights. Give the clicker. Sorry. You sure? We're a little informal. So we'll start by introducing ourselves. I bring the sales and marketing perspective to the team. A snippet of my resume is that I previously managed a $94 million multi-use facility construction project, and I was the sales lead at Overture Center for the Arts previously, and now I'm really excited to do something totally different after getting my MBA and focus on Curate.
And I'm Dale Willis. I left my PhD to work on startup companies. I've worked on everything from firmware and Air Force fighter jets to we'll say, messing with Netflix security protocols to allow me to cache local copies of their videos for my PhD.
Nobody
yeah.
works for Netflix.
So.
Before you start, can you tell us a little more about that last thing? What is that?
It was one of the companies that I was working on, and we were trying to basically move cloud computational efforts to a local router, and so we were proving how I could do that using Netflix. So the engineer that I contacted wouldn't cooperate, and so I just found a way to basically store a local copy of the movie on a router so that when you watch the video, it came from a local stream, so it was perfect HD quality every time.
Best HD video on Netflix. All right, so diving back to Curate, which is what we're working on now. So this company started in May of this year, so we're pretty new, we're quite fresh, and definitely open to a lot of feedback here. We started this as part of the Generator program, and we started talking with a lot of companies, and we were hearing about how big of a problem it is for them to actually get the data that they need to be successful. So these are questions that we've actually heard and pilots that we're working on getting in place. The data exists to get these answers, however, getting it is a really manual process that either doesn't get done or would require a herd of interns, which people often aren't interested in managing.
This is fine. So what we're really working on is trying to help businesses discover this data. And there's a lot of tools that are out there that kind of provide web scraping. So if you're not familiar with web scraping, it's an automatic process of using a program to go out to some web page and pull content off of it. This is something where you're going to look at a web page, let's say Amazon, for instance, and you want to gather the prices of all of your competitors' products, for instance. You can drop that into a spreadsheet, and then you can track that over time. And a web scraping tool would be able to provide that. But the problem is that example that I gave is really, really specific. You could write a program to do that exact instance of it, and there are several competitors that are out there that will provide that. But what they don't do is that if you send out an intern to that page, and let's say that Amazon puts up another piece of information, let's say that they add a rating system, well, the program that you've written to gather that information is not going to discover that, oh, they added, now all of a sudden there's a rating system, and so I'm going to gather that information for you as well. Programs only do exactly what you tell them to. So that piece of information is lost. And all of our competitors don't provide those kind of tools. So what we're doing with artificial intelligence piece is actually gathering those components as well. And so what we're doing beyond that is kind of trying to remove what we're calling the walls of the walled garden. There's a lot of websites that are out there that have bits and pieces of information, but the problem is that they've decided exactly how they want you to access that data. So for instance, a really great example of this is one of the companies we're working with is interested in looking at startups from F6S. If you type Boston into F6S, you'll get a series of companies that have all declared that they work or live in Boston, but you won't get companies from Cambridge, which is less than 2 miles away. And that's just because that's how the engineers designed the website. So we can do things to actually pull that information and discover the fact that you would want those companies and actually provide that kind of added benefit to you.
So this is one of my favorite movies. If you recognize this is Super Troopers. So these two are going undercover as a date, and they're going to dress up as bikers. So he shows up in bike shorts and a bicycle helmet, and she's wearing what appears to be chaps. So totally different. So the principle behind this is that context is really essential, and that's what we're able to do with the artificial intelligence piece, is make sure that the results that you're getting actually make sense. That's clear? So I want to give an example because it's kind of a really big project and exactly what we're doing. And so we're working with Generator with one of our clients, and so they've given me permission to talk about exactly what we're doing with them. So on the left side of the screen are all different websites that Generator uses for recruiting. So they would have all 6 or 5 tabs of these sites open as they go through and look for new companies to bring into their program. They have a huge recruiting, tons of interns that are working on something like this. We're able to go to all those websites, get all that data, and tie it up all together with them into one, we call it actionable insights. So the key is that we send these insights automatically to them where we know that people want this and they don't often ask for it. We'll do it automatically. So they get this once a month. So something that Generator's interested in is all new hardware and IoT companies within 50 miles of Boston. I don't know if you're familiar with Joe from Generator. He loves IoT and hardware and he loves Boston. So as Dale said, we're able to go, we get within 50 miles of Boston, so that includes Cambridge and all of those little cute little suburbs around there. And then what we do is we're able to get the company and all of the links for the company and then all of the founders as well. So this, as you can imagine, would have tons of tabs open, and they certainly do this now, but being able to tie this up all together for them has been really powerful. So there's a lot of different opportunities for this. So we've talked specifically about startups.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Siri apologized for herself.
Sorry. I love Siri. So there's a lot of different opportunities for this, and we're still looking for exactly where the right fit is and what the technology is, and that's something that we hope to talk with everybody about today.
So one of the other big things is that, as I was kind of mentioning, the artificial intelligence piece at the beginning and how we actually go out and find the data and what data we're kind of pulling in. The other big component that we're working on is that we kind of realize that as a lot of what we're doing is working in the sales lead generation space. And so typically with really any company, you're going to have a lot of sales leads. You're going to kind of winnow it down to a particular set. And as someone works for that company for a longer period of time, they're able to kind of just know off the top of their head whether a company is a good fit for them as a potential sales lead. That's really a feedback loop, and we're looking to use machine learning technology to kind of tie into a CRM system that you would use within a company to provide that feedback loop as well. And we can do that by looking at the different kind of characteristics of what a company is. So for Generator with startups, it may be what's the background of the founders, how much money have they raised, how long have they been around, what does the market look like, what kind of social media presence do they have. All of those things would kind of be key characteristics that would tie into whether that company is a good candidate for the Generator program. And so at this exact moment in time, I think as Tara Linda said, we've been working on this since early May. One of the biggest things I learned from the last company was that you really start as lean as you possibly can. So right now the product looks like you contact us, I make a customized solution for you. At scale, we're looking to have essentially like a Google box where you'd be able to type in your question. As we kind of grow the database, you'd be able to, we use natural language processing, so that you could kind of type based on my vertical or my market, what are my competitors, and we'd be able to go out and gather that information. So that's kind of where we're heading.
We're looking to work on building that this summer.
Yeah. So I know we've thrown a lot of things at you, but
and it's early.
Yeah, and it's early in the morning, and some people didn't get coffee yet. But to kind of tie everything up in a bow. So what we're working on is that we're delivering insights that we're gathering from the internet automatically, and we're kind of basing this on the premise that the internet is a very large asynchronous beast. Information is being added all the time, and it's impossible for anybody to kind of keep track of everything that they would need to know. We're looking to tie in with customer relations management systems or CRMs to kind of provide a feedback loop with machine learning. We're looking to kind of use that ability to prioritize and pre-screen companies that will hand you. So we're not looking to kind of eliminate sales leads, but we're definitely looking to take a list of 100 and say that these 10 are going to be the best. You can certainly go further down the list, but based on information that we've gathered about the requests that you've given us,
These are your best
chance. Yeah, this would be your best opportunity. And then we're also looking to kind of provide context-aware results. So, for instance, if you were going to work with like Trek or Harley Davidson, you would need to know what a bike is, because you can type bike into Google and you'll get many different results. So we're looking to kind of use natural language processing and machine learning to understand the context for your specific situation and leverage that.
Hope that wasn't too dense. Looking forward to some questions.
Yeah.
How does this stack up or maybe even complement companies like Mattermark?
Sure. So we're not necessarily going to compete with Mattermark. I think we have been talking with a lot of investors through the generator program and a lot of other accelerators. So that's just happened to where we got the first initial traction. That isn't necessarily where we plan on staying. Other companies don't necessarily want us to give every detail of what we're doing in a public presentation, but generators like, go for it. So that's why we talk so specifically about that opportunity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but like, I mean, they're curating a lot of interesting data as well. Do you think that could be helpful to the companies that you're selling to or helping? Or do you think your information is competing with them?
So far, the companies that we've been working with aren't able to afford Mattermark. So I guess potentially you would be a competitor. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of scraping the surface of, Mattermark has details where
They dive really deep.
Yeah, like I don't even know where they get some of the information that they have. And so we're looking to kind of start with just the surface questions of, I need to even find what companies are appropriate for me. And I feel like Mattermark more takes a deep dive on, now we're going to do due diligence on a company or on a VC. So we feel like we're in a slightly different market from that perspective. Yes.
What milestones are you hoping to hit over the next 3 months relative to the product and determining your market?
That's a great question.
So from the product standpoints, I've been working on the initial machine learning pieces, and we're looking to come out with a component that will basically allow me to generate a list of competitors based on kind of the keywords and the characteristics that we can discover from your website, and I've got those initial components in place now. And then beyond that is a lot more of our kind of artificial intelligence pieces we'll be putting in place over the next couple months.
And we're looking to have about a dozen pilot projects going through the summer.
What do you anticipate are your human capital needs in the next months or year?
Developers.
At some point. Yeah.
Right now, it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
So we definitely need more developers to continue to work on it, especially as we get more into the artificial intelligence space. And then we'll additionally need more salespeople as well.
Could the Overture use what you're doing, based on your experience having worked there in sales?
Yeah.
And what would you do? What would the Overture do better?
So I don't want to say do better, I don't want to be more really careful, but one of the things that we've talked about is how to keep track of donors and how to find the latest and greatest information about exactly what your donors are doing in the news and relative to what's happening with them in their sales cycle, and being able to target that really effectively and efficiently and be knocking on the door at the right time.
Mm-hmm. And to extend that as well, we've talked to several people in the political campaign space that feel like that would be really useful as well. So if anybody has any information on that, I'd love to have a conversation.
I know, this is a tough presentation so early in the morning.
Have you talked to any nonprofits? Because I know one of the problems in Madison is that we have more nonprofits per capita than anywhere else, and they're all going after the same donors. I wonder if you could give a couple of them an edge with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why we started chatting a little bit with Overture.
Okay.
And that this may give them the edge that they need, but there are a lot of nonprofits in Madison. The donor base is small.
What's your revenue model? Are you guys going to be a freemium? Are you guys going to do a SaaS to enterprises, or?
So we're looking at a SaaS model. We're hoping to do recurring monthly fees, and then it's something that people will continue to use. We've also explored a little bit of a project model if somebody just wants one chunk of data at one time. We are very far from setting a price, but we've taken on some pilots in the $200 a month range.
Are you guys so are you guys at the back end? Does the person have a dashboard or something, or are you guys just doing email, daily emails? Because I'm afraid that's gonna get lost in all other emails.
Of course.
Go to spam.
Yeah.
At this exact moment, it's an email, but I've put everything in place where as soon as I have the time to create a dashboard, that'll definitely go in there.
Yeah.
And
Or
is it
it
gonna
can
be
be an
real time on the
Excel sheet.
dashboard side?
Yes, yeah, because we're adding information constantly, so essentially, what I've done is I've created I have a state of like everything that I know, and then each of our customers kind of has a state of the world that I've sent them. And so then as we add information to that, you'd be able to go into the dashboard and kind of look at anything that we've added for you specifically over time. So essentially each person gets like a unique view of the world. It'd be like being able to go to Google and say, when I searched for this thing 6 months ago, what results did you give me versus what I just, searching for the same thing today.
Are you taking any more pilots if somebody like in the audience was interested, or?
We are, but we're careful about which ones we accept and the order. We're working on a logistical order for them. As we're not trying to like here and then here and try to like sort of, as things progress slowly.
So yeah, we're definitely interested.
Yeah.
So you'd be like interested in taking applications, reviewing them, and then deciding?
Yeah.
You touched on this a little bit, but as you've got clients that are kind of interested in different areas, so you're scraping that information into your data store. How rigidly are you keeping that information siloed, or is there going to be some sort of serendipitous effect, where client A is going to benefit from some insights that are gleaned because you happen to be scraping some information for client B?
I definitely saw that's most likely going to be the case. So yeah, it's not as siloed. I guess it's been kind of artificially siloed by how we're choosing our initial pilots. And then as we kind of scale up more and I start to add more of the artificial intelligence pieces where the system itself can tell me how things are siloed, that's when we'll really start to kind of see those things fall into place.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I was doing work for like a big print shop, essentially digital print shop, and they were starting to build out a sales team. And one of the problems that they were running into was not only like finding customers, like where should we be spending our time, but the most efficient way to use their time based on that geography. So if they were going to go 30 minutes out, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, or whatever, like what would be, based on the targets we have, what would be the most efficient way to reach the right targets at the right time? Have you thought about like maybe pursuing something like that where you can tie your insights to geography and giving people a way of prioritizing where they should be spending their time based on where those targets are?
Yeah, actually, so one of the big things that we realize is that a lot of the customers kind of have a requirement of like highly localized information. When you search for something in Google, it's based on the context of what you searched in the past and kind of region, but not as perfectly as you would want. And so that's definitely something that we're kind of looking at is, we're looking at working with a potential client that has a need for parsing information out of like local newspaper, like really local newspapers, like things that wouldn't hit the the state journal. So it's definitely something that we're looking at.
Cool. Not long ago, just on that same thing, like not long ago I saw there's some big organization, some mathematical organization that like has a prize out for like $1 million for someone that can find an algorithm that like completely parses out the best route to take based on specific targets. Like apparently that's like a giant mathematical problem, like no one's been able to solve it, and the prize is up to like $1 million now. So.
Oh really? Okay.
We'll check
I'm
that
not
out.
smart enough to do that. He has a PhD, so I was talking to him.
Cool. I think I'm gonna do that this afternoon.
So what can we as members of the general community or entrepreneurial community or business owners and service providers do to help you? I mean, it's pretty early stage in your company, but can we get the word out? Can we find people? Or?
So right now we're just looking for really interesting pilots to take on, and we love even just brainstorming about different opportunities and different places that we could go and chat with people and think about the best place to put this kind of software.
So what are those optimal industries or areas or size of companies for pilots?
So far it's been really high growth places, so startups has been something that we've been chatting with a lot, and the fact that they need to, like, everybody wants a little hockey stick graph.
Yeah. B2B space is definitely a big one. Anywhere where, so like in the B2B space, like every business survives by trying to be found online. And so we're going out and trying to, grab that information. It's definitely useful. And companies where they would kind of benefit from being able to pull information that's like more asynchronous from the internet. So somebody's adding information all the time, or there's a new conference or something like that that they should know about. And maybe, you know, how often has it happened where you find some conference that you should go to for your work and it happened 6 months ago? That happens to pretty much everyone. So, you know, those kinds of details are definitely something that we're looking to kind of discover for customers.
And we love crazy ideas.
All right, well, I think we've gotten to ask our final questions, so thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
I was doing a little tweeting, so, for you guys, so.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's it.
Sweet.
Good work, team. Yay.
Yay.